Hello, and you are listening to FPcast, the official podcast of Fruitless Pursuits, where we bullshit about the week in pop culture. I am Luke.
And I'm Jacinta.
And this week we're talking about...
Movies, television, collectibles, video games, comics, books, board games, and more.
Wow.
Fish hooks. We really should, for next year, maybe get an updated version of our theme, because
Probably, because it's all like books and video games, and we never talk about that stuff anymore.
It should be just movies.
And
that's it. Yeah. It's lies. And it's not a good place to start to, listeners. They put their faith in us. We give them a whole pile of lies in the song at the very beginning.
Yeah, but, it's been 3 years. Surely they're just tuning out the song at this point.
Maybe they're getting together a class action.
Or maybe.
Suit.
Maybe.
We'll have to give them...
Such a shame.
3 cents each.
Yeah.
So, time to put aside 30 cents is what I'm saying. Anyway, welcome back, December. Jingle jangle, Santa Claus Lane.
Jingling jangling of the bells.
Sugar plums, fairies, deck the halls with boughs of holly.
Yep.
All happening, feeling very festive. We just saw Moana, not but a couple of hours ago, an advanced screening, a charity screening, because it doesn't open here until Boxing Day.
We were going to see, I think last week we talked about potentially seeing Underworld, but when the opportunity to see Moana came up, we went, ooh, fuck you, Underworld.
As much as I like cake baking sale, I was not going to see underwear blood fart at the cost of Moana.
Yes. And it's just so ridiculous that we have to wait like another 3 weeks when this damn thing came out last week everywhere else. It is bullshit.
I know. So while we feel we're finger on the pulse for Australia, we're actually, as far as America is concerned, we're living in the past. We're like the modern Stone Age family. You're driving your car around with your little feet running along the ground, having those big rib things that topple the car.
Yep.
That would be good. I'd like that part. Anyway, we're going to review Moana. We're going to talk about some trailers, including Guardians of the Galaxy, Vol. 2. We're going to review some other things, including Christmas movies, because this is the time when Hallmark is just spewing out Christmas movies willy-nilly. Most of them feel like they were written by... children or cats?
Yeah. I do have a feeling that they just basically have a mountainous pile of scripts, right, just for Hallmark movies, and then they pick out, 100 of them at the end of the year and just rewrite them to include scene, Christmas tree in background.
I think it's an algorithm. It's like those Facebook quizzes and things. And we'll talk about Westworld at the very end, of course. And you said that we wouldn't talk about video games. That's another lie. I would like to briefly talk about Battlefield 1, because I have finally set the PlayStation 4 up again. It's all running. Did the updates. It took about a month. And now I am ready to play a lot of games I missed over the holidays. So do expect some video game chatter in the near future.
I'm not going to get to play Battlefield for another, couple of weeks, I guess, by the time my PlayStation turns up, and then by the time all the updates happen.
Yeah.
Fucking updates.
Yeah.
And then by the time I install the game.
Yeah.
So sometime next year, I will probably play Battlefield.
Probably around Halloween, I would think.
Yep.
There's probably some crazy Halloween skins or something to look forward to.
Yeah,
so that's
great.
all right. Okay, but first up, the news. And some really good news this week. No news. Which historically is good news.
Yeah. Well, tiny bit of news in place of... There's no Bingo Baby news yet. We haven't got a name still. But Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis had their second baby.
Okay.
Which people are kind of criticising the name because they've called it Dimitri Kutcher. Dimitri.
Hello, my name is Dimitri.
And people are suggesting that perhaps it's a little bit too close to Demi. So Demi Moore, his ex-wife.
Oh.
And people are going, what are you doing? What's with this? So, but apparently the article that I read said that one of the other names in the running was Hawkeye, because I think he went to... Is it Iowa University, where their mascot is the Hawkeyes.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner.
A little potato man with a bow and arrow.
Yeah. So look,
So racist.
Dimitri is better than Hawkeye, I would suggest.
Dimitri. Hello. My name is Dimitri, and my daddy's name is Ashton, and my mama's name
is Mila.
And I'm a little Dimitri. Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
Good for him. And yes, thanks to Dimitri as well for dropping by on the podcast to tell us a little bit about himself.
It's really cool that he's so advanced. He's speaking after being alive for 3 days.
Wow.
Amazing.
Hollywood kids.
Well,
so much parental pressure to speak, to dance, to land a pilot. Yeah, absolutely. So there was that. I think, there was a little bit of other news, but I would be an unreliable narrator to really talk about it. A couple of book series being adapted. There's the King Killer Chronicles.
Okay, this is already not going well.
This is the Patrick Rothfuss in the Name of the Wind. Okay. And our mate, who we're going to be talking about later, Lin-Manuel Miranda, will be producing this thing. Yeah. And a lot of people really love this book. I haven't read it, so I know Suzanne is a big fan.
Okay.
And the Chaos Walking series, which is Patrick Ness, begins with Knife of Never Letting Go. I do work in a library, so I'm kind of okay, but I haven't read these things. That is going into development too, with Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland to star.
Oh, okay.
Spider-Man and Ray. Very nice. Mm-hmm. So there's that. But, if I knew about the stuff, I could go, this is this kind of thing, and if you like this sort of thing, you like this sort of thing. I got nothing. So, trailers, they're something that I can watch for 2.5 minutes and then give an opinion on.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of audacious what we do, really, isn't it? This idea that, we're not special. We don't know anything extra. We don't put in any extra work. We literally just, watch this thing for 2.5 minutes, make a snap decision whether or not we like it, and then expect other people to listen to it. White people, am I right?
Exactly. But at least we put our little opinion into an encapsulated little podcast. We don't go out onto the internet, into threads about this particular thing, and just copy and paste our shitty opinions over and over again.
That's true.
And shoving our opinions onto people. People are choosing to listen to this, so I think we're fine.
And these aren't internet hive mind opinions, because we really haven't looked at what anybody else thinks. This is just straight off the dome, off the cuff. So, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, what can you say about this except...
looks pretty good.
They're going to make a lot of money. They're going to sell a shit ton of Baby Groot merchandise.
Yeah.
And everybody's just going to be thrilled. What a delightful trailer. And it just goes to show, and we've said this before, so let's make it about us again. And show how, we're always right and we always speak the truth. It's always about character. That's your secret. Because... the fighting the monster and all that sort of shit, that's in a billion movies. But if you get the characters down, you get the tone right, doesn't matter what the MacGuffin is, it's going to be an enjoyable movie. Yeah, and they have nailed that.
And the best bit is, I guess there would be two best bits, a bit with Rocket and Groot and the atomic bomb, or the bit right at the end where the woman, reads Quill's mind and then Drax laughs at him. That is so funny!
And a very generous bit of trailer giving from James Gunn in a way, because Chris Pratt's the most bankable person out of all of this. It's a movie that made him a big movie star. And I'm sure he will have the bulk of the film. But they've really let these side characters, especially Bautista, just must be a fucking Christmas gift for him, really. The sorts of roles he would have played in the past, which is Meathead number 1. And I think he was Meathead number 2 and something as well. To suddenly get to do really broad comedy and to have a lot of fun, and for them to have faith and to continue to push him. I enjoyed the shit out of him in that first film, and it looks like he's being pushed even further now. And he does it very well. He's perfect for that character. Any awkwardness is just perfect for what he's doing there. So to give those characters those moments, I just think it's really, really wonderful. To be able to actually develop a team and give everybody a reason for showing up to the shoot, which is something that films like X-Men, when it has a lot of characters, just doesn't seem to be able to do. They gave poor old Olivia Munn, no reason to show up to that shoot. She stood around in a costume. You know, they don't have characters.
Getting a nice thrush infection there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's got character out the wazoo. Look at all this character spilling all over the screen.
Can't even handle this much character.
No, suddenly it's going to go the other way. We're going to want less characters.
Yeah.
Why not just let us get to know one character for a couple of hours?
At one point, it's not going to be like there's not even going to be any significant plot. It's just going to be them sitting around in a diner for 2.5 hours. It's just going to be character.
It would work. That's why you know that this is going to be good, because if those characters were just sitting in a diner for 2 hours, it would work. They would make it work.
Yeah.
So, yes, more of this, please. And then I thought, let's go down under a little bit. Because, you know, American films everywhere, you know, I say. But what about Australian cinema? You know, this is the year of Spin Out.
Yeah, absolutely. I still haven't caught that.
No.
God, what a travesty. We'll need to before the end of the year, because what if it's going to be on our best of list?
I know. I mean, look at the other great stuff. Like, every time I think, I don't know if I'm into this Australian film, bloody always surprise me. Pull out a cracker, they do. Like,
absolutely.
Paper Planes. That's got to be one of my 3 favourite films about paper planes, I reckon. Easily.
Yep.
Or at least 5.
Yep.
You know, they had Wertho in it, had a kid, he's folding up the bills and throwing them like a plane.
Yep.
Swimming pool.
Amazing.
He lived out in the bush.
It just had everything.
He talked to animals.
Yeah.
And here's another film coming out. Now, Red Dog.
Yes.
What was the deal with Red Dog?
So Red Dog, I actually know a little bit about Red Dog because...
you like dogs, eh?
I do like dogs. Also, Red Dog used to be treated by a vet up north in Western Australia who owned the practice that I used to work in.
Now, is this the real Red Dog or the Red Dog that played Red Dog in the film called Red Dog?
The real, actual Red Dog.
So Red Dog was a real dog?
Red Dog was a real dog, yeah. He would hang out and travellers would just sort of pick him up and then just take him wherever and he'd get dropped off and then someone else would pick him up and then he'd travel with them and go wherever and he just travelled around with people. And people loved him and he was such a part of the community and they ended up, when he did die, they made a statue of him and he's a much beloved character of regional Western Australia.
Sounds like an escort.
Well, I can't guarantee for sure that no one fucked him, but I can't imagine that they would have.
Well, I don't know. Some of those truckers on those lonely roads.
I don't know. I imagine there would have been some like sheep or goats that would have put up less resistance, surely.
Oh, there's Red Dog. Quick, check the back. Have we got any peanut butter?
You are so awful.
Anyway, that's the Red Dog story. And the Red Dog film came out when? A while ago? A couple of years ago?
Yeah, it was about 5 years ago, maybe.
Took the bloody nation by storm, didn't it? Probably won a ton of awards.
It sure did. I've actually never seen it because I know that the dog dies, so I can't watch it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I haven't seen it either, because I know it'll make every other film look really lame to me, because...
Well, look, that's fair enough.
I'll see just anything red in another film and I'll start thinking about, I wish me old mate Red Dog was,
and actually, Coco, the dog that played Red Dog, is dead now too.
Okay.
Yeah, so everyone's dead. So even if you watch that movie, it's like, the original dog's dead. Oh, that dog's dead too. Everybody's dead.
So it's the Red Dog curse.
Yeah.
Essentially, like Poltergeist or The Exorcist.
Yep.
Where the old people died within the next 20 years. Yeah, weird that.
It's so strange.
So strange. Anyway, there's a Red Dog. It's not a sequel.
No, because the dog's dead.
Because the dog died.
Yeah.
Although I think,
Spoilers.
Ghost Dog Down by the Billabong.
Yeah, be pretty good.
Not too bad. So instead, it's a prequel, and it's called Red Dog: True Blue. And you see him as a puppy.
Yeah.
Which helps me understand the dog that he grew up to become.
Yep.
So you see some kid has him, right?
Yeah.
Now,
finds him.
I assumed, not having seen the movie Red Dog, because I thought it was going to really challenge my belief system in a way that I'd find it very hard to go to work and function and think about things other than red dogs.
Yep.
I assumed that Red Dog was about a guy who had a dog, like a bloke. He's got a dog, he's out in the bush, they have some bloody adventures, eh? Or maybe like Red Dog got lost, but then he travelled back and found him. But as you said, no, he was a dog of many masters.
He was just a transient
He was a hobo dog.
Yeah.
Do you remember that show? You're probably too young. The Littlest Hobo?
I know of it, but
it was either American or Canadian, and it was about a dog who was a German Shepherd, and he would just travel from city to city solving problems for people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my books won't balance. And then, here's the Littlest Hobo with...
And he's got his little abacus going...
Yeah, there's a calculator in his mouth and everything's fixed. So he would fix all those sorts of problems.
Okay.
But it seems like Red Dog is attached to the one owner in this prequel. So
yeah, so imagine there's some sort of sad ending where...
the owner dies.
You know, the little Timmy falls down the well and Red Dog hasn't learnt how to alert anybody, so Timmy just dies down the well.
Yeah, what do you say? He, like, runs in and there's Wertho on the same couch as he was in
Watching
Paper
the
Planes.
same test cricket match.
What do you want, dog? I'm fucking hungover. Get out of here, you mongrel. And he's like, oh, and he's like, oh, I can't be fucked, eh? And that kid dies, and then he becomes a transient dog. Yeah, okay. So, looks bloody great anyway. I mean, you see him as a puppy, and he's covered in blue mud.
Yep.
Which is very common in Australia, blue mud.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm going to call you Blue. And then he washes the dog, and he's like, Blue, you're red. And I'm just like...
That's an actual line from the movie.
And I'm just like, slow down. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, my Cookie Monster's an Elmo. I don't know what to think. Up is down. Basically,
Crazy.
You know, even though it's a prequel, and the problem with prequels is sometimes people go, oh, well, I know where this is heading. I would leave all your preconceptions at the door of the cinema. I wouldn't even take it in the car with you when you go down to the cinema. Leave it behind, because... already I'm like looking at that puppy, I'm thinking, well, that's not Red Dog, clearly it's Blue. You know, this must be his nemesis. But no, and then it turned out to be Red Dog, just with a little bit of water. And I thought, well, fuck, anything can happen.
I wonder if there what if there is a blue dog?
Do you think that's like the evil mirror dog?
Yeah, it'll be like a blue healer or something.
And he's covered in red dirt. And he's like, oh, Red Dog. And then he washes him and he goes, hang on, you're
a blue dog.
What did you do with Red Dog?
Yeah.
And he's like, he's living the life as a hobo. You can talk, yes, because I'm an evil dog from the spirit world. I'm a true blue devil dog. Bark. And then
bark.
And then off he goes into the night.
Devil dog, can't you bark? No, I can only say bark.
And I mean, look, that's the thing. I know we've gone on about this a bit, but it's like, you know, America has things like Star Wars and stuff where people are just, and in England, the Brits, they've got Harry Potter. And people are so...
Harry Potter.
Perry Potter.
Yeah.
And, you know, people are so invested. It's not just about the films, but it's about, like, the fan fiction and the world and the talking and the speculation. And, and it's no different with our Blue Legends.
We don't really have a franchise. Like this is our franchise.
Red Dog, yeah. And hopefully the Spin-Out franchise.
Yeah,
Spin-Out 2 still spinning. That'll be good.
The final one will be called Spun Out.
Yeah. And then it'll be, like, give it 20 years. And
Spin Out the next generation.
Spin Out the new round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be bloody great.
Yeah. Can't wait.
And then, you know, like a TV series about spin-out kids called Skid Marks with a Z. So good. Anyway, so there's that. And then finally, you know, Universal's trying to do this shared universe of movies using the Universal monsters. And I believe the first one was Dracula Untold, which until you mentioned it, I had completely forgotten that thing even existed. I know you quite liked it.
I bought it on Blu-ray the week it came out. I love it.
You know this is being recorded, right?
I love that movie. Anyway, yes.
That was Luke Evans?
Sure was.
Crikey, he's good though.
He is good.
Not that you'd know watching that, but Tom Cruise is in The Mummy.
Yeah, nah.
And our mate Russell Crowe. And it's modern because there's helicopters, and the mummy is like the Enchantress from Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe, I believe, is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I don't reckon that's what he was playing. I reckon they've just made that assumption because he had a beer at lunch.
Who's chucking some phones around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he was being, oh, hi, Tom, how are you, mate? Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. Oh, yeah, mate, I'll have a beer. And then he was all, whoa, fucking use cancer.
Yeah. And then the next second, he's just like ditching his Nokia at Tom. He misses him because Tom's only little.
Very short.
Yeah.
Sailed right over his head.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky.
And then the Nokia put a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Because they're very sturdy. But he keeps using it, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a Nokia, it's fine.
And then they spend all afternoon trying to get Russ out of a tree. Poking him with a stick. They put the stick up into the leaves and it comes back bitten off. Anyway, I mean, who hasn't been clamouring for a Mummy movie?
At first, when I heard they were making a new Mummy movie, I thought they were just rebooting the Mummy franchise.
Well, where Brendan Fraser was playing the Mummy with no makeup on.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I guess we'll see it, but
Are there any women in it? Apart from the Mummy?
don't know, didn't see any. But it was like a 5-second trailer, so...
That's true. We are drawing all of this
It's a teaser trailer for a forthcoming actual trailer.
Yeah, I think it's a teaser for the teaser, so it's like about 15 seconds.
How excited do they think we are for a Mummy movie that they need to whet our appetite by giving us a teaser for the Mummy? It's like, just give us the trailer.
It's one of...
And then we can not care about that.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where a studio is just not reading the room. You know, like you can tell this isn't going to be a successful thing. Like, you know it's not. There's just no way. It's like when Singer's like, I'm going to make a $200 million Jack the Giant Killer movie, Jack and the Beanstalk movie. Like, you know, like, people aren't looking for that right now.
The only winner there was Ewan McGregor. He had a really good time.
I think so.
Don't think anybody else did, but he sure did.
Yeah. So, Mummy, we'll keep you posted. Up to round the clock, Mummy news. When that trailer comes out. Because Tom Cruise, also just brilliant. Like, who doesn't want to see something with him in it? So, yeah.
Great.
Mummy it up. Let's get serious. Because I feel like you've been fucking around a little bit. Not really focusing, just a lot of derailing. Should we talk about Moana?
Sure.
Do you want to get us in the Moana mood? I'm saying Moana like it rhymes with Goanna. It would be Moana.
Moana.
Yeah.
Yes. I am Moana.
I am Moana.
Moana. Yeah, so we went to this charity screening today. It was very, very cool to be able to see this movie very early for us, not very early for the rest of the world, as we did say. A new Disney movie about an islander princess, well, not a princess, daughter of the chief, who sets off across the oceans to find Maui so that he can fix a thing that he, like, fucked up previously.
He's a demigod with a magic fishhook.
Yes, and magic tattoos.
And he stole a thing and now he has to put it back, or everything's just in balance.
Yes. Yeah, so it's kind of like a road trip movie, but just without roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually structurally reminded me a little bit of Kubo and the Two Strings. In the sense that I found it a little slow to get going, although it's not as drab as Kubo is at the beginning. It's actually, the setting is so lush and the songs are so nice, lovely that even though it's a bit slow to get into gear, it's very lovely to look at. It's a very well-crafted thing. But then once the Rockers Maui comes into it, the whole thing really lifts for me, and then it really gets going. Yeah. And it had that sort of episodic Monster Quest thing that Kubo had.
Yeah.
But I do think this was far sort of brighter and more successful. And while I'm drawing this Kubo analogy, I did initially also, because on the island, her father's voiced by Tamura Morrison.
Yeah.
And
Django Fett.
Yep. And Play School. And I just, when she started talking, and she does this really sort of quite modern mannerism when we first see her as a teenager, just initially, it really jarred on me, that sort of Americanness again. Now, I know it's a Hawaiian actor, and that is her accent, but I was like, oh, Disney, you're doing so many wonderful things with diversity here. You've got a really genuine, strong female character with really no compromise through the whole thing. You've got they've been criticised by sort of homogenising the looks of characters in the past. You've got someone with a unique look and a unique body type, and you're showing as a different culture. And
if people think representation doesn't matter, like, I would say half the audience today was like Maori or Tongan or some other Pacific Islander, and like, I mean, obviously it doesn't so much resonate for me because I'm obviously not of colour, but I could only imagine how that would feel for all those little kids to be able to look at these characters and go, oh shit, that's like, you know, like that looks kind of like Uncle or whatever. That's so amazing.
So it's very positive. I feel like the next step, though, is because it's a criticism that comes across a lot of these films is giving us different voices. Because that idea that, and I don't know if it's, I understand that the songs are probably more commercial if they have that Disney musical kind of voice, and I think by having the Hawaiian actor, they're probably like, well, we've done it anyway. I mean, this is a genuine Hawaiian person, and I can kind of respect that, but yeah, it's still a little jarring for me. That said, by the time The Rock was in it as well, and they were away from the family, I accepted it, but it jarred at first, just because it's so loving of the culture at the beginning that it was like you just weren't willing to go that extra step, were you? You're still scared that I don't know, it's like, will we not understand the character if it's not American? Will we not relate? Will we not like the character? Will we not listen to the song? Like, I can't find the argument for why these, and same with Kubo, and more so in Kubo, as to why these characters have the American voices. I just don't, it just doesn't appeal to me when it's something that's so steeped in another culture.
She's not, doesn't have a 100% American accent. Obviously, it depends on what phrases she's saying at what time, but I guess it's American-ish, but I wouldn't say it's 100%. It's not like, you know, an Anna or an Elsa or something where it's 100%.
Well, that was the kind of vibe I got, like, early on, though. As I said, there was a bit where she was being that kind of goofy, mom sort of teenager, but then she broke out of that pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was... I think I know the bit you were talking about. It's like a 5-second thing, and then they move on, and it's, you know... I
think she's a great character. I really enjoyed her in the long run, and I think that, there is no compromise there. She has a lot of agency, which is really cool. And not in a, like, too cloying way either. Everything sort of happens as I feel like it should happen.
It's very organic, and it feels very natural the way these characters play together.
Yeah, so you enjoyed it, obviously?
Yeah, I loved it. I actually even really loved that first section. That first section had one of my favourite songs, the one she sings by herself before she kind of goes on her journey. It always sounds like something that, you know, Lin-Manuel would have written almost for, like, Philippa Sue, one of the Schuyler sisters in Hamilton or something like that. I really loved it. There's some later songs that are great as well. Like, the songs in this are so great, and if you are a fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda stuff, there definitely has his signature, and I found even the songs that he actually sang that were in the movie, I just hear his voice and just go, yes, this is like home, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's something to sort of bear in mind, that this is that kind of it is a more traditional Disney princess-style movie to a degree, in the sense that it's a musical and it has those familiar elements. It has the DNA of some of those other films, even though it mixes everything together in a different way. So it's definitely, you want to be sort of predisposed to that kind of thing. Like, I think something like Zootopia is more broad in its approach to sort of everybody. But that said...
it certainly appeals to a certain kind of adult as well. Like, there's that in The Rock and, you know, Lin-Manuel and another character later on that I'd kind of forgotten was in it. So that was a really nice surprise when they showed up. So I don't kind of want to spoil that too much.
Yeah. No, and don't get me wrong, I liked the beginning. I thought it was lovely. I just... I like the songs, I like the scenery and everything, but... that sort of actual genuinely funny, witty kind of Disney humour that's been coming out recently, like in films like Zootopia and Inside Out, you know, things that are really, I find, genuinely clever and funny, doesn't start to branch out until really The Rock comes into it. And that's when I think she started to really grow as a character, which makes sense. She's on that classic hero's journey. And I know you'd said to me that you'd read... What was the criticism you'd read? Because I'd like to address it.
Yeah, it was just that there was not a lot, I guess, original about it, which is crazy. Like, you can watch the trailer and see what's original about this movie.
Well, there's familiar stuff. I mean, you've got a protagonist who is unhappy with the current surroundings and believes that there's more outside and that there's more than this provincial life. And you've got the father that's like, no, you will not go and do these things.
Yep.
And there's the animal sidekicks and the classic becoming a hero kind of things.
Which they do kind of joke about some of those things.
Yeah.
They understand their own tropes.
And Disney has all those things, but then I feel like that's part... I mean, that's what makes those films. That's part of
It's a strong core. Build on a strong core.
Yeah, and it's what those films are about. And I think if you're seeing any sort of franchise film or series of films, whatever, you would expect the films to share that sort of DNA. Plus, you've got to remember, these aren't all made for you in the sense that, they know that you saw this 20 years ago, so now you have to see something. Because it's somebody's... There's all those little kids in there, which is their first time.
Yeah.
And I'd certainly rather see one of these modern versions as opposed to watching something like Pocahontas. There's something... The craft in this is just... So I can't imagine you not giving this a pass. You would have to be very mean-spirited to not enjoy or appreciate the sort of love that went into it. And I think there's something sort of similar in the way that Disney handles Star Wars. And Force Awakens got criticised for bringing in a lot of similar ideas. But it's about remixing those ideas all the time. And the reason they do and those ideas work and why Star Wars or the Disney films are what they are is because they are very broad, universal ideas that can be understood by people regardless of your age, ethnicity, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, so you can keep the same base plate, but as long as you're updating what's on top of it for the age you're in, then it's still going to work.
And there is a lot of invention within this.
Yeah, there's some great stuff.
They play around with a lot of stuff. So, and that's what I thought with Star Wars as well. You need that DNA that is Star Wars. Just in the same way, if you're going to go and see a Jurassic Park film, there's probably a list of about 10 things you would expect to see in there. You're going to see those things, but it's what do they do with them? And there's something so comforting about these films, and I love how timeless they are because they do use those broad themes. I think that's what makes the Disney films classic, whereas, things like Secret Life of Pets is going to get forgotten about. Then just all those really, or, your Gwen Stefani, Justin Timberlake trolls with all the music and everything. Yeah. They're just not they're not timeless.
And Disney Pixar have done such amazing work this year, like Zootopia, Finding Dory, and now this. Like, they would all be in my top 20.
Yeah, I'm amazed that, I don't know why we got the 3, actually. Because we got 2 Pixar films last year, didn't we? We got Good Dinosaur and Inside Out.
Oh, yeah.
And then this year we got a Pixar and 2 traditional. So they're definitely sort of upping their release schedule, which is kind of crazy. I'm not even sure what's next.
Not animation, but Beauty and the Beast will be the next one.
Yeah,
live action.
But like in terms of their animated films...
don't know.
No idea, but just cranking them out, and they're great.
Yeah, for them to be cranking them out and to still be this kind of quality,
and for Disney to also be doing what they're doing with both Star Wars and Marvel, and we've had things like Jungle Book and Pete's Dragon.
Yeah,
really, their only misfire for the year was their cynical money-making exercise, which was the Alice in Wonderland sequel.
No, yeah. I'd forgotten about that. I forgot that was this year.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe that's unfair. Maybe it wasn't a cynical money-making exercise. But as I said when I reviewed that, it just didn't understand the core of what makes Lewis Carroll's work. It wasn't a psychological journey from Alice's perspective. It was about these characters having their own families and lives and problems. And whereas it should be like that classic labyrinth story where you go in and have this sort of psychological adventure where you meet aspects of yourself and find out about yourself and sort of, this discovery thing. But they were like, no, Alice is a sea captain and the Mad Hatter has a family and we want to find out how he got his hat. It's like, fuck off.
Mad Hatter, True Blue.
True Blue origins. So, so Moana was really lovely. It was a very nice... Christmassy kind of film, and I feel like if you've got kids, it's a very
Yeah, if the options are Moana or Sing, take them to Moana.
Yeah. And no one's in that same league, are they? Like, we saw the Sing trailer again today. That's one with all the animals putting on a show to save the theatre.
Yeah.
And just not even remotely close. Nothing timeless or classic or beautiful about it. Whereas there were some genuine, few times in Moana I got the chills. Where I was just like, oh, that's just perfect. Yeah, like, no one can compare. I just think, like, Disney, surely once you get into the Oscars, like, for Best Animated Film and stuff, it's going to be all Disney.
There's a scene where she has sand all over her.
Oh, didn't they look amazing?
Oh, my God. And she, like,
Animation-wise.
brushes all the sand off, and I
Just
was
the
like,
texture of her hair and stuff.
It was just
There's
like...
some really great things.
Like, there are people more talented than I will ever be in my entire life. It's like, fuck you.
And I also feel that in terms of female empowerment, I know people said that about Frozen, but there is a symbol used in this film towards the end. Which,
it's very blatant.
You talk about, like, phallic symbols. This is one of the classic feminine symbols. This is, like, historically... the vagina of nature, and Moana
it's used in a very dominant way.
Pops out one of these things, and there's no, I don't think that's me just, like, I don't think there's any other way to interpret that. I think it's just such a clear symbol of,
It's a big double middle finger to everyone who's hating on strong female leads in this movement. If anyone's hating on this movement, it's like, well, here's your reply.
And it's not going to go away. I think guys at this point, rather than being so insecure and upset about it, should just start being nice, because otherwise, like...
When we put you all into camps, we're going to keep the nice ones.
I think it's going to be like an Order 66 type deal.
Yeah.
Because, you know... Like, seriously, like, I'm not suggesting you do this, but, like, women could just all decide, okay, 1 a.m, guys, just bludgeon your partner in their sleep.
Yep.
You know?
And there'd be no one to...
Cook them a nice meal, get them drunk, roofie them, and then just bash their fucking heads in and then rule the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there'd be no one to, you know, get us in trouble.
That's right.
They'd all be dead.
That's true.
What a magical future world that would be.
I am willing to be breeding stock. They're pretty good DNA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll show you some. Is that all we want to say about Moana?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to spoil anything too much?
Yeah. There's some really nice, surprising stuff in there that I don't really want to spoil too much. There was some minor, tiny things that I think... Personally, I would have liked to have seen in it that weren't in there, but it's a personal choice thing. I think this is a really great movie, and I don't like it any less because it didn't have those things.
Yeah, as I said, you would have to be just
a cold, heartless bastard.
You really would, to not, like, get some joy or love out of that
there were times in this, like, I'd said that when we saw Pete's Dragon, like, I was, like, in tears within about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was having a bit of a bad anxiety weekend that weekend. This weekend, I'm fine. I still fucking cried in Moana, and I'm sitting there going, fucking these lights better not fucking come up.
I felt a bit sentimental. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, don't have a cold heart of stone.
Yes.
Just have a nice big pink conch. I just want to briefly talk about, I saw Sully.
Oh, the big blue monster from Monsters, Inc.
Yeah. I saw him down at the shops.
Yeah. Or Joe Lando from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
They were together.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and they were buying eggs.
Yeah.
They're going to make a Christmas cake.
Nice. Just with eggs?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Sully, a.k.a. Tom Hanks, turned up.
Oh, shit.
And so that inspired me to go home and watch Monsters, Inc.
Cool.
Dr.
Quinn Medicine Woman.
Quim. And
Don't you dare. She is a pillar of our society.
Dr. Quim, Medicine Woman. And then I watched Sully.
Yeah, cool.
So this is Tom Hanks playing... the guy's name is Chelsea Sullenberger?
No idea.
Which totally sounds like something you can order with fries.
Is he the Miracle on the Hudson guy?
He is the Miracle on the Hudson. So he's in a plane. He's piloting a plane. This is like in 2009 or something.
Yeah.
Geese. birds just attack the plane. Birdemic,
I hate
shock and awe.
birds.
Yeah.
This is why I hate birds.
They all just get shredded in the engines. He has to land the plane. They're like, come bring it back to a runway. He's like, fuck, man, I don't know if I can do that. I think I'm just going to have to land this thing in the Hudson River.
Yeah.
And he does, and then everybody's like, oh, we're so cold in the water, and the water's... Because, the plane, it's not like they just sat in the plane waiting for the plane started to sink.
Yeah.
So they had to get out and stand on the wings, and they were all cold, and there was babies and stuff. But my God, if he didn't save 155 souls that day. So the movie's directed by Clint Eastwood, and I haven't seen American Sniper, but I know this is a guy that is very keen on heroism. And go America, you guys are so cool. And it was kind of an interesting film. Like I started off thinking, why am I watching this? I don't know if I'll enjoy this. And then I did. I think I gave it 3 stars because I did enjoy it. I got into it. And the plane stuff I really quite liked. And it's really about that sort of, looking at what happened and did the right thing happen? Did you do the right thing, Sully? So, yeah, but the story is basically, and this is like a little bit spoilery, but it's a real event. And it's really about seeing this stuff unfold as opposed to... I'm not... This isn't a recommender. Like Moana, I'm saying, yeah, go and see Moana. I'm not saying go out and see Sully. I just thought this was interesting because the film is basically... Because you got to fill 2.5 hours nearly, or over 2 hours with this thing. So the film is like everyone going, you did a great thing, Sully. And Sully being like, yeah, I'm not sure. Did I do the right thing? I hope I did the right thing. And then all the aviation people and the sort of commissions and everything and the investigators are like, we don't know if you did the right thing, Sully. And he's like, I'm pretty sure I did the right thing. And then he goes home and he's like, did I do the right thing? I really hope I did the right thing. And then they have their big meeting and we're going to look at all the facts and everything, Sully. And he's like, hey, I did the right thing. And they're like, and this is where I think, this is Clint Eastwood's heart melting. This is the Grinch's heart growing. Because I swear they're just like, Sully, not only did you do the right thing, but we all are going to line up and we're going to cup your balls and suck your dick because you are the best.
Great.
And then they just fillet him through the closing credits.
Yeah, cool.
So if you want to see Tom Hanks's O face... holy crap, watch Big, but if Big is out, get this, because he is just absolutely loving it. And I think it's so interesting because, and even talking about Moana as well, America loves the hero's journey. They love heroes. They love to call people heroes. They call sandwiches heroes because they're so delicious. Hero sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
But they just love heroes. But the characters are always like, but it's not about the glory. Except all these films and everything are all about, let's glorify these heroes. So, yeah, I don't know. But I think it'd be a good one to watch on a plane, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, because you'd be like, if anything happens, we'll be fine, because pilots are smart.
Yeah, but you're putting a lot of pressure on that pilot. You did that flight during the week with that Brazilian soccer team. The plane went down, and basically everybody died apart from about 6 people. And the rumour was that they were running out of fuel.
Yeah,
and they just ran out of fuel and just fucking crashed. Well, I don't have faith in that pilot. Doesn't matter now, he's dead, I'm pretty sure. But,
well, he's no Sully.
Well, he's definitely no Sully.
Not even the Monsters, Inc. Sully.
No.
He would have found a way.
He would have.
He would have opened a door. And the plane would have gone through the door.
Peace out, everyone, and just left him
to another place. Anyway, it is Christmas, and I believe it was promised that there would be some talk about Christmas movies.
Hell yeah.
Channels like Hallmark are just putting out a lot of Christmas movies that were written by a computer. And I'm going to have trouble speaking. I've watched a few. I've watched the first 2/3 of a lot of them. Because then I go to bed because I'm bored, and then I come in the next day and I start to watch it and go, no, let's just try something else. Maybe it'll be better. But that said, they're all the same. They're essentially person who doesn't like Christmas learns to like Christmas, and capitalism is bad. You got to, we're going to take over this company. We're going to lay off people at Christmas. We're going to
there's some kind of thing where Christmas Day is the deadline.
Yeah. And but I going to go and see my family at Christmas. Well, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're going to go tell that people at that factory that we're closing them down. All right. Oh, but now I'm falling in love with the guy who owns the factory. And we're going to get married in this small town. And I'm going to tell my boss to shove it. But his heart has grown and we've got a Christmas bonus.
Yep.
And he's given me the job of being in charge of the factory all along.
Yay!
I think that is a movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so...
We should pitch it to Hallmark next year.
Have you got some specifics?
I've only watched one Hallmark movie this season so far, which is crazy. I know.
Is that what it's called?
No, it was called Broadcasting Christmas, starring Dean Cain and Melissa Joan Hart. Now, if that is not something that inspires you to want to watch it, I just don't know what is.
I like...
So, Superman and Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Crikey, together at last.
Amazing, I know.
He is vulnerable to magic. Like a witch could really fuck up Superman.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Because she could just generate kryptonite out of thin air, surely.
Well, not even that, just magic. He's got no defences to it.
Yeah, okay.
So she could cast a spell on him. Even like a sexy spell, and he would just have to go. Is that what happens? Does she cast a sexy spell on him?
Kind of, yeah. So, like, I kind of have some rules for Christmas movies.
Okay.
Which is a thing that comes up every year because there's always some fucking smartasses that come on social media and go, oh, my favourite Christmas movie is Die Hard. Which, like, I'm sure that was kind of smart and funny 10 years ago when people first started saying it, but it doesn't make you a special snowflake anymore because every motherfucker is saying that shit. Why don't you just pick an actual Christmas movie? And this is how I define an actual Christmas movie. It has to... Essentially, if you remove Christmas from the plot of the movie and it is not able to work, then it's a Christmas movie. If Christmas is so intertwined to everything to do with this movie, Christmas movie.
Has to be about the spirit.
And it does have to be about the spirit
Christmas.
of Christmas also.
Someone has to, like, learn something or feel something about Christmas. It has to, like, it can't just be Christmas in the background.
Yes.
They need to have some sort of spiritual or supernatural family, whatever, just something Christmassy needs to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Broadcasting Christmas, despite the fact it does have Christmas in the title, I feel like you could take Christmas out of it and it would be fine. That's why I really think that the Hallmark people just literally take old scripts and put Christmas in it.
I can't actually remember any of the names of the ones I saw, but a lot of them, like, they had to buy trees and they were like, Dad's going, I'm going to take you, we're going to cut the tree. What? We're not just going to buy a tree? No, this is what me and my old man used to do. We used to cut down a tree.
Oh, that was the Christmas swap.
Was that in Christmas?
That was Christmas
That's in
swap.
something else as well, I'm pretty sure.
It's probably in about 5,000 other things.
I saw ones with, like, Alicia Witt.
Okay.
I started watching that because Alicia Witt was in one of my favourite ones last year. And she does, like, this is her season. Like, she's all lit up for Christmas. She did that one last year where she pretended to be Santa and no one knew she was a woman.
Okay.
And she had a, hello, I am Santa Claus voice. But yeah, she did something... Maybe she was the one that they were gonna... No, I don't remember. But I saw one with, like, Mina Savari. Like, so all these people come out that, you know, used to be sort of on top, used to know who they were, and now they're doing these, like, movies that have the blander script. And there was one where Chevy Chase was the boss.
Yeah, right.
And he was just not being funny. He was just a bland, you've got to work late, I don't like Christmas. You're gonna... I think he wanted them to shut down a factory.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think my favourite one last year was called Christmas Land, where a girl inherited her nan's, like, Christmas land, like a holiday-themed kind of theme park type thing. And I'm like, well, that's all well and good, but, like, what are you going to do for the other, like, 6 months of the year?
I think Alicia Witt was in this one this year where she's got a boyfriend, but he's away, and then she meets this guy, and he's nice, and she's like, oh, maybe I should be with this guy. Like, he's sort of tempting her at Christmas, but I didn't watch the end.
I watched 2 last night while I was, like, painting my Christmas decorations, because that's how fucking serious I am about Christmas.
You take Christmas very seriously.
Yes. The first one I watched was from 2011. It was called The 12 Dates of Christmas.
Oh, that's clever.
Yes. And it was I don't know who the girl was, but it's like Amy Smart or something.
Yeah.
And the guy, Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Mark Paul. I always thought his name... This is like the Chiwetel Ejiofor fucking thing where I read something and it processes in my brain completely differently to what it actually is. I always thought it was like Mark Paul Glossier, but it's
Like that he was glossier than Screech.
No, but it's like Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah.
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 So weird. I've gone like 30 years or something thinking that it was like glossier. Anyway.
Like a magazine.
Yeah, a bit like that. So this movie is basically like Groundhog Day, but instead of this girl having to kind of fix herself,
Yeah,
and like to make the perfect day and make everything fall into place, she has to not only fix herself, she has to fix every motherfucker around her as well. So it's like this weird kind of interconnecting everything, and she has to make sure all these little duckies are lined up before she gets to get out of her Groundhog Day.
I like little duckies.
It was actually not bad compared to some of the other ones I've watched this year. I quite enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. And the other one I watched last night was called The Spirit of Christmas, which I loved the summary because I thought it was going to be a ghost fucker movie, which it kind of was. So this girl, like she's a lawyer or something, and then she goes to this inn because she has to get it assessed because the person who owned it had died and they need to get it sold and all this sort of stuff. But she goes there on Christmas and the people are like, no, you can't stay here. We shut down over Christmas. And they're like, and she's like, that is insane, surely. Why would you not be open over the holidays? People are surely going to want to stay here.
Who plays this girl?
I don't know.
Candace Cameron?
No, she is in some though.
She's in
a whole bunch of them.
She also introduces them to on the Hallmark.
Yes.
She's got her dog. Hi, I'm Candace Cameron. This is my dog. There's Alicia Witt's having some wacky Christmas adventures this year.
She had like a Thanksgiving special holiday week thing where she'd announce them all. That was what Broadcasting Christmas was part of. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, and so this girl goes to the inn and there's this ghost there.
Is he a sexy ghost?
He was killed in like the early 1900s or late 1800s or something, but he's like this sexy kind of hipster ghost with an undercut kind of thing.
Sounds like his career was killed in the early 1990s.
In a waistcoat sort of thing. And he becomes not a ghost for about 12 days over Christmas. And they have to solve the mystery of how he was killed in order to like release him, right? But, of course, over those 12 days, they, like, fall in love and probably bone and whatever. I actually kind of like that one as well.
Well,
I think I gave that 3 too.
A ghost gave Dan Aykroyd a blowjob in Ghostbusters, so these things can happen. Mm-hmm. I think that's really hard, like, sometimes to identify when somebody's dancing or when they're having sex with a ghost. Mm-hmm. Because of just the hip thrusts.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to, unless you've got, like, spectacles. Spectacles.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about this? Okay, I'm pitching an idea.
Okay.
This really is off the top of my dome. This isn't in our notes. I haven't thought about this. Mm-hmm. What about a 12 Days of Christmas movie where somebody's rich, because money is a good thing at Christmas.
Yep.
Rich uncle or whatever dies and leaves them a lot of money. But the condition is that they have to gather up all the things each day from the 12 Days of Christmas song. Mm-hmm. So they've got to produce like 10 Lords Leaping and
there was actually
7 Swans a Swimming.
12 Dates of Christmas had something like that. There was a reference to all of those. And one of the thing that was Lords Leaping, that there was a kid that was running away from her and he had like a hoodie that was like a sports team and it had his number on the back, which was 10. And the sports team was the Lords. And so he jumps over this thing and it goes into slow motion. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, has that been going on the whole movie? I never even noticed. And then I noticed all the rest after that. I was like, you motherfuckers.
Because I was thinking at the end, like, you know, they just can't get the... What are the 12? What's the 12? Drummers drumming. Like, you know, some, like, Weasley Will guy is like, I see only 11 drummers drumming. And then, like, clock strikes midnight and everyone's sad, but then it's like...
And then one of them turns out to be 2 kids in a trench coat.
Yeah.
And like, split into 2 people.
Well, I think first they've got to have that thing like, oh, well, it's okay, it's Christmas, we don't need the money. Think about all the fun that we've had and, like, we've made friends with all those milkmaids. Like, things are great. And you're like, yeah, you're right, this is the best Christmas ever. And then they see it and they get the money anyway because of the 2 kids in a trench coat. Great.
Perfect.
That's a film.
Yep. There is worse on Hallmark, so I think, yes, that is a film.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So, yeah, Christmas. Oh, that's got me inspired. I'll have to make sure I watch a couple during the week. For sure.
Faux show. Actually, I think next week, I mean, I haven't checked our doc, but I think next week might be Office Christmas Party, which is not something that I was really that keen to see. But we've got to see at least one Christmas movie at the cinema.
We do. We did see The Night Before last year.
Which was not that good.
No.
It was fine, but it was not that good.
It's forgettable. It's got Kate McKinnon in it, probably briefly.
Okay.
Or in briefs. It's got Olivia Munn as well. Speaking of, ladies, I was watching that Restless, which is a 2012 two-part miniseries about espionage.
Oh, yes.
Starring both Hayley Atwell and Michelle Dockery. And
who we spoke about with such love the other week.
And Hayley Atwell is Michelle Dockery's mother, except she's played by a Charlotte Rampling when she's old, and then Hayley Atwell in the flashbacks.
Wow.
And she is pretty much Agent Carter, down to the costume and the rapist hat.
Right.
Yeah, like it is totally an Agent Carter thing.
Yeah, right. That's cool.
So I wonder if... I don't know, timing-wise, which one inspired the other, but still, I just really am in love with Hayley Atwell at the moment. I was just like, that's all I thought about during the film.
Okay.
It's just like, oh, so pretty. But yeah, that was good. And also, sorry, while we're talking about Christmas as well, if you're a Christmas lover, do check out the Fruitless Pursuits Facebook page. I am opening up the Lego Star Wars calendar every day and providing a commentary on the piece, including what it is, where it fits into the universe, and what I think about it. And that happens...
I've got another friend who's doing the city one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in that.
Yeah. I almost thought about doing all three. But...
the Friends one as well.
Yeah. But time-consuming.
And they cost like $1 bajillion.
I think I paid about $40 for that.
Yeah.
45 maybe. Anyway, do check that out. Now, before we do Westworld, I just wanted to briefly mention Battlefield 1. This is the World War I game, and I'm not going to tell you what it is and how it works and all that sort of shit. It's fun, it's cool.
And it's been out for weeks.
And it was nice as well, because I haven't had the PS4 plugged in for about a year, so you forget how good shit looks. Like, it sort of comes on and I'm like, holy crap. Like, look at this thing.
That was like $600 well spent.
Yeah. So it looks really good. But you can choose which stories you want to do. There's a bunch of different stories.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to, this is the campaign.
Yeah.
You don't have to do them in order. You can go, well, I want to go and fly a plane, or I want to do the tank stuff, or I want to do Gallipoli.
Nice.
So did Gallipoli, and it was really great that they got real Australians in there to do the voices. And we talked about that, about the voice thing. There was certainly a time when Americans would always just do Australian voices and do this weird Cockney pirate thing. So it's so great and authentic, and it just made me love the Australian characters. It was bloody Peter O'Brien from Neighbours.
Bloody flying doctors.
And he would say stuff like, oh, fucking Poms. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. Thank you. And they're just so good. They're so endearing as real Australians. So I love that they did that. Because it's one of those things where... Like, I love Comedy Bang Bang, but when Nick Kroll comes on to do his Australian character, I always turn it off. I won't listen to it. Because it's just... The thing is, the accent's completely wrong. He's doing this weird crocodile huntery kind of thing. But the thing is, real Australian banter, like a real sort of Australian rough country fucker, is going to say stuff that is way funnier, way more clever than anything... Like American Kroll is, I mean, he's a funny guy, but he can't beat the authentic stuff. Like when you see like real life hero bogans on TV and YouTube and stuff, they're just fucking amazing. Like the way they can turn a phrase.
Absolutely.
And instead, he does this really broad stereotype, kind of just blunt, just nothing clever or funny about it compared to. Yeah, the real deal. So to have these real Australians in there was just an absolute treat. And there were poppies, and Jumped off the boat, ran down the beach, and
got shot in the head.
Shot a lot. Yeah. Oh fuck! I did my first multiplayer game today, which was just like, hey guys, what? hey guys. So where are the? But the cool thing is, you can, when you respawn, you can look at the map, and there might be like a blimp flying over or a tank driving past, and if there's a spot on that, you can go, oh well, I'll jump in that. And I really did enjoy being up in the airship on a gunning station, just shooting at biplanes, and actually the flying is fucking great.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I really love the aerial combat. So, it's really cool. So I'll be playing a lot more over the holidays because...
as will I when I finally get it.
Soon I will have a month off, and I cannot wait. Alright, so we're going to talk about Westworld in a sec. There will be spoilers for the second last episode of Westworld. I can't imagine it'll take us too long. But if you don't want to be spoiled on that, then please get out. So remember to go to fruitlesspursuits.com. You'll find links to our Facebook page, which has the advent calendar, Patreon. Thank you so much for that, you dudes. That's awesome. And also iTunes. Rate and review us. Keep us up there, keep us relevant, keep food in our bellies. And
or at the very least, keep our movie tickets paid for the shit that we go and see each week.
And Westworld spoilers begin now.
How many episodes are left?
1.
Good.
You're done?
I'm done.
Yeah.
Next year, I'm not going to be watching this week to week. I'm going to wait until it's all done and then binge it.
I'm still very much enjoying it, but I am having trouble because I don't have that... Like, bear in mind, when we did Fuck Yeah, Game of Thrones...
We were already invested in those characters.
We weren't doing it like at the first season. And we knew the characters and we had thoughts and opinions and stuff. And I think it's harder to kind of come up with that on a week-to-week basis. I think the only thing that I really want to talk about was this idea of Arnold being Bernard, which I still can't 100% get my head around because if you dispatch Arnold and bring him back as a robot...
Won't other people notice?
Yeah, and just call him Bernard.
Yeah.
I hope it's not racial.
Oh, that people just aren't noticing? Because, yeah, okay.
But, I mean, he's got the photo of him on his desk. It's like, Walt Disney's still not around, but we know what Walt Disney looked like, you know? So that seems really strange to me how you could get away with that. I don't quite understand that. Obviously, this has gone against my theory to a degree that Ford was the robot that was replaced by Arnold. It's still this idea of Arnold being replaced by a robot, so I was circling around it, but I don't know exactly how it works.
Yeah.
I certainly do not think that Bernard killed himself at the end. And I think Ford is a fucking dummy, because you never leave before seeing the body.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like, if we didn't see him die, then he didn't die.
I know he's an old dude, and maybe he was busting for a piss or something, but you stick around and you check it out.
Yep.
And I think that the biggest clue to all of that was the fact that Ford gave him the instructions or the orders in narrative voice, which is really a big no-no because it's so open to interpretation. I mean, if you ever did a fucking English class or something, he would know that all text is open to interpretation. And he didn't say blow your brains out. He said put an end to this nightmare. And I feel like the way to put an end to this nightmare is that Ford is the cause of his nightmare. And so I almost expected for a second he was going to go, I will put an end to this nightmare and shoot Ford, go to black. But he didn't.
Yeah, but there was in the light of the Bernard Arnold thing, there was an article that came out, because I mentioned, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, that there was an idea about there being different timelines, like we're actually watching different timelines at the same time, and the suggestion that because we have Bernard Arnold and they're visually the same person now, that sometimes when we're seeing Dolores talk to Bernard, we don't know whether that is Bernard or whether it is Arnold, whether it's a previous incarnation of that character, because you did see her walk through and her clothes were changing and all that sort of flashbacks. So it suggested that she'd done that same thing before on a previous timeline. And the other really interesting thing, and I don't know how well this would hold up, is that all that Dolores stuff with William and Prince Caspian and all of that sort of thing, the idea is that that is occurring in the past, and all this stuff that William is going through now, that basically he is the man in black. And this is him kind of getting too deep and too obsessed into the park, and then eventually reaching that point where he kills what's-her-face, Maeve, old Maeve, and then fully becomes that man in black character, which I thought was quite interesting.
Has he crossed paths? He hasn't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know,
because again, like, there's that bit where the man in black is like kind of shitty to Dolores, where you're like, oh, well, that doesn't kind of work. But then, like, what if Dolores does something to make him kind of go a bit nuts? And
I don't know how I feel about all this multiple timeline stuff, but I do remember.
It sounds like the sort of, like, from the guy who made Lost.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a conceivable thing that he would do.
Well, but I do remember feeling when they picked their hats. You know, when they first went into the park, I felt there was something about that scene that I felt like it was a flashback. I took it as a flashback as I started to watch it. It seemed like it was like an earlier version of the park, but then they went in and I was like, oh, no, it's not. But yeah, there was something about it that
and what
just
if
felt really sort of retro.
Because he has a white hat, right?
Yeah.
And his mate, Prince Caspian, had the black hat. So what if he fucks him over and takes his hat?
Takes his hat. Well, you would imagine
You'd get a new outfit every time you went to the park, surely.
every corner store in Westworld would sell black and white hats, souvenirs.
I guess so. We haven't seen it yet, though.
Haven't seen the souvenir shop.
Haven't seen the souvenir shop. Maybe that's on your way out.
Well, yeah, but our old friend, what's his name, William?
Yeah.
Lyle the intern.
Lyle the intern, yeah.
Certainly did chop a lot of people into little pieces. A lot of robots.
Yeah, he's starting to come off the rails a bit.
Still not sure about this whole robot physiology. Like, it was nice to see someone get cut, like Dolores get cut open and see the robot bits inside and go... Because before it just seemed like no matter what you did to them, they had human...
Yeah. Well, it's a
organs
generational
and
thing,
things.
isn't it? It's like the earlier versions have all that robot crap and the newer ones are all synthetic-y stuff.
But then he cut up all those robots.
But then maybe they're older robots.
But how did he cut through all that metal then?
I don't know.
That's what I mean.
But he didn't cut through it because you could see the end of the metal, like whether he kind of cut and then just pulled them out of their sockets.
God, Caspian must have been pretty drunk not to hear that, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, we've got the last one.
Yep.
So we'll be free of this torment.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless somebody reaches through my television at the end of that episode and gives me $100, I am not going to be feeling too thrilled. I can't imagine anything that happens in that episode that's going to make me go, oh yeah, I'm totally down with all of this.
So some sort of like rich poltergeist figure.
Yeah.
Has anything like that ever happened to you before?
No, but there's a first time for everything.
That's true.
Yeah, and I mean, look...
Might be a spirit of Christmas.
Exactly. It's December, so I don't want anyone to think that I hated this series. I didn't hate it. I just can't do it week to week next year. I can't do it.
Well, I enjoyed it. I'm probably enjoying it more than you are. I look forward to it. But as a week-to-week segment, I don't feel like we're being particularly enlightening or doing it justice. Because we're not as invested.
Because there's nothing even really to be that funny about.
Well,
I think Game of Thrones, you can be funny.
It's not as invested in the lore as we were with Game of Thrones. But, you know, look, kudos to us, though, for getting this far. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God they're short seasons.
Talk about heroes.
Imagine if we had to do, it was like
Heroism.
a 22 episode season. God.
Well, then we might drop off. I love the old heady days of Fruitless Pursuits when it was like a lot of blog articles, print articles before the podcast.
Yeah.
And I used to recap and talk about all sorts of bullshit.
I did... I recapped a season of like Doctor Who, but I lost the will to live so much that I never did the season finale, I don't think.
Yeah.
I just got there and I was like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just going to fall over now.
I did like 8 or so episodes of the new Thundercats cartoon.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That was pretty funny too.
Okay.
But no one read it.
Yeah. I had a blog where I do like funny recaps of Battlestar Galactica when I was like watching it for the first time. And it sort of started to get really depressing and I'm like, I can't make fun out of this. Like, this is awful. So I stopped.
It's good to laugh through the tears.
No, it was like pretty awful. Yeah. And I still, like, it got to the point where watching Battlestar felt like such homework that I still haven't watched Battlestar.
That's the problem, isn't it? And then that's the problem when you take these pop culture things that you enjoy and you start to talk about them, or you set yourself any kind of schedule to it.
Yeah, like I'm watching this thing and then there's a task I have to complete after it.
Yeah. And that's the problem with what we do. Because that's why I think FPcast is the enduring podcast at the moment, because there's no real prep.
Yeah.
Like, we watch things, we talk about them, we talk about what's happened.
Whose book was better takes quite a bit of prep.
Yeah, and when we're not
And it's not entertaining prep, it's really
No,
boring.
it's very painful. And, you know, there's a sort of freedom with FPcast where if we want to talk about something, we just talk about it. Whereas this segment is locking us into talking about Westworld.
I mean, it's obviously not at the moment because we're talking about other stuff.
Well, that's because I won't stand for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, I'm out
Okay.
for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye.